Everyone, and welcome to Vino and Chat with Sandra Meehan. And as you know, every Wednesday night at 7 o'clock, I have awesome guests on here to share so much with you. And tonight, we've got our first male interview. I have never interviewed a male before because all my interviews have been with women. So I thought I'd change it up tonight because this man has written a wonderful book. It is absolutely in line with what I do and with what my followers follow me for. And it's the belief system. And it's Steven Aitchison. I hope I have just pronounced his name correctly. All the way from Scotland. So who is Steven? Steven's an author, a coach, and an online trainer, teaching in the fields of personal development, business, marketing. He has amassed a following of over 4 million followers across the social media sites, including Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and LinkedIn. So we're in for a treat tonight, guys. He gained his degree in psychology from Glasgow, Caledonian, I don't know whether I pronounced that right, but forgive me if I haven't, University, and soon after started his blog in 2006, which is one of the longest running blogs on personal development in the world. Steven previously worked in business sales at BT before becoming a homeless worker. He wasn't homeless, he worked with the homeless. And then going on to become an alcohol and drug addiction worker. He quit his full-time job in 2012 to become an online business owner and creating products to teach personal development, social media marketing for business. He is now dedicating his time to writing books and teaching his passion, personal beliefs, and how to change them. And as you all know, guys, I'm a big believer. I keep telling you, change your belief system, change your life. So welcome, Steven, and thank you so much for joining me tonight on Vino and Chat with Sandra Meehan.
Sandra, thank you very much for that introduction. That was brilliant. Thank you very much. And yes, you got the name right as well, and you got the Glasgow Caledonian name right as well.
Oh, that's good. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to chatting with you. But before we start, I always like to give ask my guests a question. Who would be your favourite sporting star?
Favourite sporting star? Oh, that was kind of out of left field there.
Yeah, I'd like
Who would I say? I would have to say, and I'm going to go back years and years, purely from the belief kind of principle point of view, Roger Bannister, who broke the 4-minute mile. He was the first person to break the 4-minute mile. We were talking about that yesterday in another interview, but he was the very first person to break the 4-minute mile. And it just shows you the power kind of beliefs. But modern day, I'm not really into sports that much, to be honest. So I'll go with Roger Bannister.
And I could see why he would be your favourite sporting star, because from what I've read of him and what I know of him, how he won that was all through having belief in himself.
Yep. And that's exactly it. As I say, it's a perfect example of using the kind of power of your mind in order to do something. But not only did he do that, he kind of broke the 4-minute mile, but shortly afterwards, he kind of broke down a universal belief that the 4-minute mile, it just couldn't be done. So he broke that universal belief, and then more and more, everybody's doing a 4-minute mile now. So he first started it, and it's purely through the power of the mind.
I'm not doing a 4-minute mile.
I've tried it. I can't do it.
So, Steven, with your book, is it based on the mind? Is it based on spirituality? What's it based on? How did it blossom? How did it come about?
It came about, well, really kind of 35 years ago, Sandra. When I was younger, when I was kind of from the ages of 5 years old to about 16 years old, I had a deep belief that I was not intelligent. I was thick. That was a word we used back then. It's not PC now, but that was the word I used. I just was not intelligent at all, and I couldn't understand if there was something wrong with me. And it all stems back to being in primary school at 5 years old. I had a hearing problem that nobody kind of knew about. And that went on for maybe a year or so. Once they discovered I had a hearing problem, then they fixed it. I had an operation, put grommets put in my ear, and I could hear again. But I still held that deep belief that there was something wrong with me, developmentally, mentally, and psychologically. And that carried with me throughout for the next 11 years of my life. And it was only at 16 years old, I passed an exam in history, and I got an A in history. And I was really chuffed about it. And I thought, hold on a minute, if I passed a history exam and I got an A, that must mean I'm intelligent in some way. So it proved to me it was an epiphany belief change, we call it. And you don't get a lot of them because belief changes happen over time. But an epiphany belief change happened kind of almost immediately. And I had that at the age of 16. And the more and more I thought about it, and kind of as I was doing the things I was doing, I'd go back to that time and say, this is where it all started. When I first started to learn about beliefs, because of that one belief change, I became more social, became more confident. I start to realize I actually am intelligent, and so much more happened from that one belief change. And that's why I went to university. That's why I wrote this book. So I wouldn't be here talking to you today had I not had that belief change. And I thought, wouldn't that be cool to help others change their personal beliefs? So that's where it stemmed from. So it's really about kind of psychology. It's about the mind, but it affects every area, like spirituality, like you're saying as well. So it affects every single area of your life.
Yeah, that's amazing, because belief systems do affect us. And it's like you said, you believed you weren't intelligent. It's like, I know for myself, I was told that I couldn't paint, and I didn't do any art. I'm good at that, and I carried that. Like, I turned 60 in February, and I carried that belief up until late last year, until I started playing with some stuff, and I gradually put it up online in my private group, and somebody bought it, and I'm like, you're buying my stuff.
Excellent.
Yeah, but I can't do any of that. And it's not something that I want to, I'm not the creative one in the business. My daughter is, and she's done the same thing. She's put a work out there, and people are buying it. And it's like, yeah, it's our little mind. I believe that between this ear and this ear is the most destructive part of our whole existence, if we allow it to be.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, because that little voice in your head that says no. But if you think about it, Sandra, it's not really your little voice that's saying no. It's all the pieces of evidence you've gathered in the past from other people, from your teachers, from your parents, from your siblings, from your kind of peers. It's everything they've said to you. That's where the little voice kind of comes from. So it's not really your little voice. You just need to kind of listen to a different voice, but it's still all part of you as well. So it can be destructive, but also can be extremely empowering as well. It's just the way we use it, and that's what the belief principle of the book is all about.
And talking about the book, how many beliefs are there in your book?
Well, we've got different types of beliefs. So I kind of use the analogy of the tree of beliefs. So we have beliefs that are not really that important. We just kind of believe it, but it's not going to affect our life. Like for me, for example, I'm not a good artist. I'd say I wasn't a good drawing artist. I'm a good artist in other ways, but I'm not good at drawing. But that doesn't affect my life in any way. It's just kind of fact. If I want it to be, I will change that belief and start doing it. But so that's a leaf belief. So if you think about a tree, so you've got leaves, branches, trunks, and roots. So that's a leaf belief. Then you've got branch beliefs. Trunk beliefs are a bit stronger kind of beliefs. For example, I am confident that could be a trunk belief or a root belief, because your trunk belief and root beliefs affect loads of different other beliefs in your life, like all the branch beliefs. So if you believe you're confident, it affects your social life, it affects kind of what school you go to, what kind of job you get. It affects loads of different things in your life. So we're looking to work on the trunk beliefs and the kind of root beliefs. The root beliefs are really core to who you are. And when you can change a root belief, you literally change your whole kind of life, because you change one belief. And that example that I gave you earlier, the belief that I am intelligent, it totally turned my life around. So in the book, I've got 7 root beliefs that we're working on. So 7 root beliefs, and I think if you just manage to install these, or even 1 or 2 of these, your life just changes beyond measure. So that's what's in the book, 7 beliefs. But it tells you the whole kind of practical side and the kind of theory side of why we need to change your beliefs, and it gives you a kind of method to do that as well.
And I'm a big believer that our belief system we take on in the first 7 years of our life.
Yeah.
A big believer in that, because we often have beliefs, well, because we're told so much as children. And I would like to use the analogy as you've used with the roots, that's mainly the root of a lot of our good beliefs, but also a lot of the root of a lot of our misconcepted beliefs that really aren't ours, that we carry into adulthood. And these negative beliefs affect every part of our lives. And even though we may think we let go of them, we actually don't, because there's layers and layers and layers of them.
Exactly. And that's what's in the book as well. So there's a specific reason that most of our beliefs are formed, our personal beliefs are formed by the age of 7 years old. So there's a specific reason for that. And it's all to do with the brainwave states. So from the ages of 0 to 7, we're in a kind of what's called a theta to alpha brainwave state. Now, when you think about that, conceptually might not be able to kind of think about it, but think about when you're daydreaming, or you're just before you doze off to sleep, or you're meditating. That is a theta to alpha brainwave state, depending on how deep you are. So that's the kind of state children are in all the time. From 0 to 7, they're in that state all the time. So that's a programmable years. So anything your mum says to you, your dad says to you, your teachers, your peers, your doctors, anything they say to you, you kind of take that on, and it's programmed into your mind. So if they say, you are absolutely useless, you're hopeless, you're no good, you're going to take that on. It's going to carry with you for the rest of your life until you become conscious and aware of it. Then you can start to change it. Well, most people do not become conscious of it and aware of it until they die. They don't even they just go to the graves with that kind of feeling. So this is why we form most of our personal beliefs by that age. Now, the only way to change a belief is to first of all become aware of it. And how many people know and are aware of their personal beliefs? Hardly anybody. If I was to say to you, okay, what's all your personal beliefs? Tell me all your personal beliefs. You'd name a few. You'd be able to, but you don't know the hundreds of personal beliefs that you have. And it's the hundreds of personal beliefs, the hidden ones, that we need to kind of dig, find, and then change. Either they're limiting beliefs or they can be empowering beliefs. And we want to have empowering beliefs that drive us forward in life. So that's the reason why we kind of form our beliefs by that age. So if we can get into a different brainwave state and change our beliefs that way and become aware of our beliefs, we can change our whole life.
That's amazing. That's just you just resonate so much, and I just love the way, the simplicity that you're putting around it, without all the, I'm just going to put it out there, without all the bullshit. Basically. Us Aussies are a bit like that. So you're explaining it very simple and factual, without, it's just, it is what we take on, and we don't actually know what we take on from our mother or our father and our brothers, and as humans, and depending in different, this is what I believe, is that we're in different stages of our lives, and whether we're in mother vibration, father vibration, we hold it in all different vibrations in our belief system. So and that's what causes patterns, this is what causes destructive patterns in people's lives, why they can't move past sometimes, because they will go after in relationships the same type of person because of their belief systems and what they feel that they need or they're looking for.
Yeah, I think that's very true. And one of the big things, if we think about it, and this pertains to all areas of our life as well, and there's a brilliant kind of book that came out, I can't remember, something about being a wallflower by Stephen Chbosky, and he says in his book, somebody asked him a question, and he says, we accept the love we think we deserve.
Yes.
We accept the love we think we deserve, but that is true of all areas of life. We accept the wealth we think we deserve. So if we don't think we're worth that, if we're in a job whereby we think we're only worth $20,000 a year and that's all we're worth, we're never going to get a job that pays more than that because that's all we think we're worth. Same with relationships. If we think we're not worthy of that much, we'll accept love that should really push us on and push us forward in life, but we accept love because we think we don't deserve any more. So it's from toxic people as well, because we think that's all we deserve. Once we become aware of our beliefs and say, I am worthy, bugger you, I'm not going to listen to you or listen to your crap again. I'm worth so much more than that. And you start to elevate yourself, elevate your beliefs as well, and you start to attract different people in your life. So you get rid of the toxic people. So every area of our life is because of what we think we are worth. And that's health-wise, that's spiritual-wise, that's wealth, that's the car you have, that's the house you have. Everything is because you think that's all you're worth at the moment, and it's unconscious, and it's all to do with your limiting beliefs.
And and what do you think the limiting beliefs would be on the planet at the moment?
The limiting beliefs on the planet, fear is a big thing just now, but fearful of what might happen. We always think, when we think of something or fearful of something, it's usually something that might happen in the future. So what people thinking might happen in the future, obviously there has to be an economic downturn because of what's going on just now. I don't know the right phrase to use for them. The politicians that are out there just now, are they helping us? Are they making us more fearful because we think if they're in charge of our future, holy shit, what was going to happen to us? Because it can't be good if they're in charge. So people are fearful. So there's an underlying thing that there's going to be bad things happening in the future. If you believe in the universe and the world believes there's going to be bad things happening in the future, there's going to be bad things happening in the future. That's what's going to happen. So we can start to change it. We have to start locally, i.e. with ourselves first, and then do what we're doing just now, just talking, and then we start to spread a different type of message.
And why I asked you that, Stephen, is that I have a belief. Well, I believe my belief is that people will go into fear because it's triggering something that's happened, where they go into lack or whatever from something further on back in their own life. And some people are happy. Like for me, with what's going on in the world, I'm happy. I see the world as being abundant and everything like that. I'm in charge of my world. And whereas a lot of people are still in that fear and that panic because of it's survival. It's the bottom layer of that Maslow triangle, and they haven't been, and because they can't see their own unlimited potential, they're stuck in that.
Yeah, definitely. And I think what's happening just now is because of the COVID-19 and everything, everybody's watching the news even more now to find out what's happening with COVID-19. However, everybody's watching the news on other items as well, everything that's going on in the world just now. They're watching the news constantly again, whereas before we started to not pay attention so much to the news. And that's what we should do. The news is disproportionately biased towards bad news because bad news sells. Good news doesn't sell. So you're not going to get any good news stories. They will at the end, or tack it on at the end of a news program or something. But because bad news sells, it's all going to be about bad news. And people are getting into that zeitgeist and really listening to all the news on a daily basis, on an hourly basis. So if we're listening to that on an hourly basis in our lives, the world is a terrible place to live just now. But if we're not listening to it, if we go on a news fast, we know about COVID-19. We know in a couple of weeks' time we're probably going to come out of lockdown or phased out lockdown. That's all we need to know. We don't need to know and watch every day. We don't need to know what else is going on in the world. It doesn't affect us because we get into that mindset of fear. And it's the news, propaganda, and it's the news that's feeding that fear. And it shouldn't be that way. No.
And I like the way that you've explained it in once again in that simple terminology for people. And fear really is, I believe that fear is what causes anxiety.
Yep.
and move, because we're in fear of the future. And when we're depressed, it's about what's happened. We're living in the past.
In the past, yeah.
And for people that have anxiety, what with your book, how would your book help them if they were to grab your book?
With regards to the book and with regards to anxiety as well, like you say, people with anxiety, they're kind of fearful of something that may or may not happen in the future. That's usually kind of what it's about. It's not usually kind of about the past. It's usually about what might happen in the future. Now, we can learn to have a positive outlook. We can change our kind of thoughts. So it all starts with our kind of beliefs. And Mahatma Gandhi said it, change your beliefs. You change your thoughts. If you change your thoughts, you change your words. If you change your words, you change your actions. Change your actions, you change your habits. Change your habits and you change your destiny. So it all starts with your beliefs. So if we look and say, okay, when we're kind of anxious, we say, this is what might happen in the future, and this is what I'm really fearful of. But if you say, okay, that's the worst case scenario. So worst case, or you think about the worst case scenario and say, okay, what's the worst case scenario here about kind of the future? And then you ask yourself, okay, what's the best case scenario here? So you've got a balance there straight away. And usually what happens is somewhere in the middle. So it's about looking at things differently, and it's about changing the kind of thoughts that you have, because we each have every single day about 50 to 70,000 thoughts per day, separate thoughts. Now, I've never counted that. I don't know if it's true or not, but this is kind of what psychologists are saying. So if we manage to change, well, of those 50 to 70,000 thoughts, most of them are the same thoughts as yesterday. So we cannot change as a human being with the same thoughts that we had yesterday or the same thoughts that we had the day before yesterday. We cannot change. It's impossible. We're stuck inside that comfort zone. The only way we can change our lives is to change the way we think or change the thoughts that we have. And if you manage to change only a couple of thousand thoughts per day, your life changes. Again, you open up your comfort zone and your life changes totally. And just by changing a couple of thousand thoughts a day. And what is that? 15 to 30 minutes per day, looking at the thoughts that you have, and that through kind of affirmations and things like that as well, which I speak about in the book. So there's loads of different things in the book that would help an anxious type of person as well. And it's all to do, it starts with your thoughts and your beliefs.
And we take on a lot of our parenting from our parents, so how we parent our children. For those out there that have got young children that are bringing through the next generation, what would you say to them about how they parent their children, or the beliefs, their own beliefs, and passing that on to their children?
Well, this is something, because we've got to think about the beliefs that we have just now. Some of our beliefs are hundreds of years old, literally hundreds of years old. And people usually say, well, how can your beliefs be hundreds of years old when I'm only 30 years old or 50 or 60 or 70? It's because it's passed down from generation to generation. So usually our money beliefs are passed down from generation to generation. That's where we get a lot of kind of fear around money, because it's been passed down, because they lived in different times. Our parents, our grandparents, they lived in kind of hard times. We don't anymore. We live in the most abundant time in the world just now, today. This is the most abundant time there's ever been. And possibly tomorrow is going to be even more abundant. So we have to try and get rid of that as well. So with regards to parents and the kind of children, we have to understand first and foremost that from 0 to 7, that's the most formative years, or the programmable years for beliefs. So just being aware of that as a parent, you encourage your child through lots of different ways, and just saying, it's not about just saying you can do anything, because they can't. You have to be honest as well. They can't do anything, but you can encourage them to try. You can encourage them to have more determination, encourage them to be kind of stand up for themselves, more kind of assertive, just lots of different things, because you now know how beliefs are formed. You can change the way you parent as well, and that changes your relationship with your children. So there's going to be another book comes out, The Belief Principle for Parents. That's the next book, because it's going to be a whole series. So it's going to look at that more in depth. But just understanding how beliefs are formed and how you can change your own beliefs will kind of change the way you parent your child as well.
Yeah, that's for me. I'm a big having parented 2 children myself, and both my children are very different. I believe that, especially with my daughter, I passed down a lot of my beliefs as far as self-esteem and self-confidence and all of that. We're not there now because we've worked through it, but that lack of self-confidence that I had and that belief affected the way that I parented my children, and it just goes through. And I'm grateful now that we have Rebecca and I have come to this understanding, or not understanding, but we've done our what I call our inner work, and we've changed our belief system, because I changed mine, but more importantly, as I changed my belief system, I changed the way that I reacted to things.
Yeah.
So I couldn't actually get triggered, or the people that I allowed to trigger me, they couldn't do that. And as I found that the more that I changed me and I changed my belief systems around my own self-confidence, the more people left my life.
Yep. What happens there is your beliefs have an energy pattern to them. So the beliefs that you have, and you know about kind of energy patterns as well, you kind of attract what you are. You attract more of what you are. So if you have an energy pattern whereby you just don't believe you're worthy, you've no self-esteem, you're going to attract people who are going to take advantage of that, or you're going to attract more of the same type of people in your life, because it's a kind of like an energy signature, if you will. So you're kind of pulsating and vibrating at this energy frequency that's quite low. So you attract other people like that as well. When you lift and change your beliefs to say, I am confident, I've got boundaries, I'm not going to accept toxic people in life, you know where you're going in life, you're vibrating on a different frequency altogether. And again, your beliefs are vibrating on a different frequency. You're naturally going to attract different people in your life who are vibrating at the same or higher frequency that's going to lift you up. And in turn, what you're doing, this is the beautiful thing about it, Sandra, is you lift other people up to your vibrational energy if they want to be there. So you're lifting people up, you're being pulled up all the time. And it's all about when you start to become aware and look at that kind of what you're talking about earlier on, Maslow's hierarchy of needs, self-actualization. When you're looking at that, then you bring yourself up and you're bringing other people up. So it's a kind of an energetic gift you're giving to the world as well when you bring yourself up. So it's not only for yourself, it's to help other people.
And if, there's a saying in the spiritual industry that I work in, or I like to call it the empowering coaching industry, that if you want to see, you be the change you want to see in the world.
Exactly, yeah.
And so if you want the world to change, it must start with you first, and it starts from the inside rather than the outside, because your outside world is a reflection of your inner world.
Oh, 100%. And there's no better place to kind of realize that than in business. When I was kind of first starting business, it was all about how can I make more money? What product could I make to make more money? How could I raise the prices of that to make more money? The coaching, but that brings in so much money, but it doesn't bring in joy and fulfillment. Once you realize that and say, well, it's not about the money, what different type of question can you ask? When you stop asking the question, how can I make more money, and start asking the question, how can I help more people? And you really, truly 100% focus on that, whether that be in your customer service, the products that you make, the way you communicate, the way you kind of do these interviews and stuff, then that changes your whole business. But as a side kind of benefit to focusing on your kind of who you want to truly serve, you start to bring in more money. So that's not what you're doing it for, but you start to do it. And that's purely for focusing on different people. So it's just another way of thinking about your life as well and your business. So it's none more, you see it much more in business than you do in kind of personal lives.
Oh, yeah, especially in business, because if people, like for me, I believe that I could have, I'm qualified at Reiki. I don't do it anymore, but I've got a small street that I live in here in Australia, and the whole street could be full of Reiki therapists, and there'll be enough work for all of us.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I believe in that, because I believe that people are drawn to you for your energy. They don't come to you for what you do. They come because of who you are and who you are being in the world. Yes, what your qualifications is good, but you sell yourself basically. And if you're closed because you're so tied up because you want money, then you're pushing your clients away.
Yeah, totally. And you'll see that in business all the time. And we've learned to spot over the last couple of years on the internet, people, we'll need to and there's a few people in just now we need to kind of say hello to, but people that are watching us have learned to spot straight away if they're talking mince, if they're talking kind of bullshit, or if they're not, and they turn off straight away. So we think in business, we think the attention span of people have gone down. It's not. The attention span of people that can spot bullshitters has gone down. So they can spot a bullshitter within 7 seconds. It's not the attention span has gone down to 7 seconds. That's how long it takes to spot a bullshitter. So they just turn off. And that's what's happening just now.
I'm going to use that. Spot the bullshitter. Yeah, I love that, and I believe the more authentic that we are in business, and the more that we are ourselves, and we actually talk to the person and help them, not so much about what we do or what we've created or whatever. It's about how we can serve and how we can be of service. The better the world's going to be, and the more genuine, the more authentic, all the polish and everything that the smoke and mirrors that used to be in business, and people do lives and that, and they'd have to be perfectly done up, and you had to watch what you say and that. I mean, I don't give a shit. I just say it as it is, and that's who I am, because whether I'm talking to you, whether I'm sitting in front of a politician or somebody of a highfalutin person, they're all people, but all the same, no matter whether we're pink, we're red, we're black, we're white, we're yellow, we are all human beings. And I think we get tied up with status and putting people on pedestals and that, but we're all equal.
Exactly. And that's what you were kind of talking earlier. No, it wasn't. It was somebody else had said, oh my God, you've got 3.7 million followers on Facebook. I feel I'm kind of talking to royalty. I said, that anybody could get that if they really wanted to. So I'm just exactly the same. I'm not anything special or anything. I've just learned to do social media marketing. That's all I've learned to do. And anybody could learn that if they really wanted to. So we're all exactly the same, literally all exact. Although sometimes I would still feel, if I was in the presence of the Queen or somebody like that, I would still feel a little bit intimidated, obviously, because we've still got that. It's never going to go away. But so from that point of view, we don't always think truly that every single person's equal, because we've still got people that we elevate kind of in our minds as well. But for the most part, it is totally true. But on a personal level, it's not always the case.
Yeah, I like to. I say to the people that I speak to, and that when we put somebody on a pedestal, we're actually giving our power away.
Exactly,
because we're giving our power over to them, because we don't think we're as good enough, or we don't think we're as equal. Now, to me, whether you're the Queen or you're Donald Trump, or whether you're ScoMo here in Australia, we all pick our nose and we all got to go to the toilet. We're all equal.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. We'll say hello to a few people as well.
Yeah, sure.
I think there's a couple of people in. Christine Moraes is kind of watching. She's saying, good morning, Sandra and Stephen. Good to see you, Christine. Sorry, this is your show. I'm taking over. This is your show.
Look, I'm pretty easygoing. I just can't. I just can't get the messages up.
We've got, who else have we got? Violet Lena.
Yeah.
You're also full of wisdom, Stephen. Thank you very much, Violet. I appreciate that. Loveliness in the house as well. From India, Christine Moraes. I think I've shared this on kind of my page as well. Don't know if there's other ones coming in.
Yeah, I've had trouble with my computer, and it just won't scroll down any. It says show more messages, but we've got people watching, lots of people watching, but if anyone's got a question for Stephen, please put it down, or if you want to, even if you want to jump on and personally ask him the question live, I'm happy to bring you on. You don't have to come on camera. We can just bring you into the green room, and you can talk to Stephen. And I'd love to speak. I'd love to get to know more about what you do, and that. In a much deeper conversation. So, Stephen, what is your belief ceiling that you speak about? What's that?
The belief ceiling we have in every area of our life as well, and this is something that I've discovered, especially in business, that we have a ceiling in our life whereby we think, okay, so imagine I'm going to try and make it practical for everybody. So the job you have just now, so just say the job you have just now, you're earning $30,000 a year. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier on. You only think you're worth $30,000 a year. That's why you've got the job at $30,000 a year. And maybe because of your skills and experiences and stuff like that as well, you don't think you could get any more. That's your ceiling. You don't believe you can go any more than $30,000 a year because of all the other beliefs, because of the skills you've got, because of them, you're not good enough, you're not a good enough manager, or whatever it is. You've got all these beliefs that are below this belief ceiling. But once you change the belief ceiling and say, okay, I believe I'm worth $40,000 a year, and you start to look at the beliefs that you would have to get to $40,000 a year, and you say, okay, I've got these skills, I've gone to university, I'm good with people, and you start to look for evidence to prove all these different beliefs. Then your mind expands to say, okay, I'm worth it. So you're going to start looking for jobs that are paying $40,000 a year, whereas before, you wouldn't have even looked. You wouldn't have entertained a job at that kind of level. That's just a very kind of crude example, but it kind of tells you what belief ceilings are. So, yep.
Keep going. No, keep going. Sorry.
So I was going to say, in business, we have that as well. When I first started business, my first kind of thought was, I need to earn $30,000 this year in order to give up my job. So in the very first year, I focused on that. I believed I could do it, and I kind of worked on it. And that year, I earned $30,000. I thought, brilliant, I can leave my job. So I left my job, and I thought, okay, I now need to earn $60,000 a year in order to pay people, because I'd kind of taken on a few people and kind of doing kind of part-time work. So kind of focused on it again, looked at the belief system, looked at all the products I had and stuff and all the kind of coaching, thought $60,000, yep, that's cool. And I got $60,000. I thought, hold on a minute, I'm keep on reaching these kind of targets I set myself. There's a ceiling there. So I thought, okay, I'm going to double 60,000, see what happens. So I've done that, and I got to 120,000, and I doubled it again, 250, doubled it again to 500,000. It didn't quite get 500,000, but in 2016, 17, I got to about 300,000 in sales, not in profit, but in sales. And it proved to me again the whole belief system and kind of the belief principle and that belief ceiling. We put a ceiling on everything we have. So the better thing to do is have what I call a kind of moonshot belief, a stretch belief, and kind of where you are just now. So if you want to, in business, for example, you say, okay, the moonshot belief would be $100,000. You think, I'll never get to $100,000 this year. That's probably not going to happen. So you bring it down into a stretch belief and just say, okay, I'm earning $20,000 a year. A stretch belief would be to double it to 40,000. So that would be the target you're going for. It's a stretch belief. But because you've had the moonshot belief, your mind is expanded automatically. So your mind has kind of gone out into the universe and said 100,000, and has started to think about getting $100,000, and you still don't think it's possible, but your mind is expanded. So that stretch belief no longer really is a stretch belief. It's a believable kind of thing that you can actually achieve. And that's something I think I've done that after the book. So I don't think I've really spoken about that in the book, but on the future editions of the book, I'll speak about moonshot beliefs and stretch beliefs as well.
Oh, that's awesome. I love that moonshot. I call it the big, audacious, hairy.
Yeah.
I was setting some goals for my own business today, and today or yesterday, Rebecca and I were talking about it, and I've got one. I want to do a TEDx talk, and so I've put it out.
Excellent.
There, and it scares the shit out of me, but I know I can do it, and I know I'm capable of doing it, and I know I'll get there. So that's my belief. That's that's my stretch is to do that, to get up there, because I've done lots and lots of lives, but I've never actually got up on stage and spoke. So
excellent.
And it's just taking that to the next level, because I think what we do is our beliefs limit us to what we're actually here to do, and it stops us from being this shining light out into the world, where if it's just our own, what other people think of us really is none of our business, because we think it is. It's really not important. It's what we think of ourselves, and those people that there's 7 billion people in the world. I had a business coach, Mark Boness, and he used to say, he still says it, there's 7 billion people in the world. Some of them are going to like you and some of them not. You just got to find your tribe and those that resonate with what you've got to say and who will help you on your journey to get to wherever you need to go to.
Yeah, and that's brilliant to kind of think like that as well. With the TEDx talk, as one of my, it's not a big, huge goal. I've never kind of pursued it, but it's one of my kind of things I'd love to speak at TEDx. But what we're doing there is we're kind of stretching our comfort zones. So we're in a comfort zone. Everybody's in a comfort zone just now. And we're kind of sitting back, we're laid back on the couch, just dead comfy, watching TV. That's where we are in a comfort zone just now. The only way to grow as a human being is to stretch that comfort zone. The only way to do that is to push the boundaries of the comfort zone. So kind of talking, for example, you might not say, okay, I'm going to do the TEDx talk straight away, but to stretch your comfort zone, you get up on stage somewhere else, at your local kind of business consortium or something like that. You speak on stage there. So that's your first stage appearance, and you do more and more. And then that TEDx talk no longer becomes a moonshot belief. It's actually something that's going to happen. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen. So this is how we can expand as human beings as well. And again, it's all to do with our beliefs. How do we stretch our comfort zone? We have to believe that we can push the boundaries of our comfort zone, but just do it a step at a time, a wee bit at a time. That's all we need. And it stretches our comfort zone from here to there, to there, to there, to there. Pretty soon, you just say, okay, I want to do that. I know I can do it, anything. So if you want to be an artist, I know I can do that. I don't know how to do it just now, but I'll find a way. That's cool. And you start to believe you can do anything. And that's the whole thing about your kind of belief systems.
And it's always about the journey. It's not about the destination.
Yeah, totally. Because when we reach the destination, we're always thinking, oh, that was great. And you always think back and go, you look back in the memories of the kind of journey to get to that destination, and then you've got a new destination. So usually what happens is we start with a destination in mind, but it's not always the destination we reach. But the main thing is we start on the path of a destination we think we want, but it's not necessarily where we're going to end up. So the universe will it'll not decide, it'll just kind of guide you into the destination that you were meant to kind of travel to, but you have to take that first few steps.
And what would be your advice to people that fall off? They've got a belief and they keep trying. It's a little bit like giving up smoking. You just keep trying and trying and trying until eventually you get there if you're meant to get there. Smoking is not probably a good example, but many people try and give up smoking and they'll go for 3 days, then they'll go for 5 days, then they go for 2 weeks, and then they'll go for a year until it's a habit that they just give up. Do you believe some belief systems are habits?
Yeah, definitely, because what we've done, we've gone into a pattern of thinking. So a habit is a pattern of thinking, but it's a pattern of action that you're kind of doing. That's what a habit is. So a belief kind of habit that you get into. So with smoking, for example, we can use that. It's not just about the smoking that you're trying to give up. It's about looking at your other beliefs. Are you determined enough? Do you want to be healthy enough? So it's looking at all the different beliefs that underlie kind of what smoking is. So smoking, because I used to smoke as well until about 2 years ago. And I always said, I love smoking. I loved it. I thought it just kind of, when I done it, I had it with a cup of coffee, and the smoking itself didn't make me feel relaxed, but the time I had to myself and just chilling out made me relax. So I was looking at those different beliefs and saying, okay, I'm determined to do this because of my health. You look at all the underlying things and all the underlying beliefs around smoking and what's going to benefit you is. So if the benefits outweigh the kind of negatives more, then you're more likely to do it. So you have to focus on the benefits more, but it can still be hard because it has become an ingrained, not only psychological habit, but a physical habit as well. It's a physical addiction, smoking. So it's not just psychological. So, but there's a lot of beliefs that we can look at to kind of get rid of the kind of psychological habits, mind habits that we've gone into. And that helps with the physical kind of habits as well. And if we can get into it for 21 days, then we've beat it already for 21 days. And
that's because 21 days you can change a habit. And I, Stephen, I just want to go back to fear. Like people won't say give up smoking, or they don't do things because they're in fear of what they're going to lose, or they're in fear of the process, or they're in fear of the outcome, whether it's smoking, whether it's leaving their job and getting going into business like you did, left your job. It's all this fear comes in, but it's not so much fear. It's actually belief systems. That's it. Would you agree with that, or have I got that totally wrong?
No, I'd agree with that to a degree, because fear is like a response. So it's to do with the belief systems, but it's a kind of a trigger that happens within us. So when we think about, if people were to think about just now about giving up a job, what happens in the mind? So imagine you're kind of walking along, you've got this terrain that you're walking along. So this is where you're walking, you've got your job, everything's cushy, you've got an income all the time. But when you start to think about giving up the job, what happens is a big, huge hole happens, and you think you're going to fall down that hole and you're not going to be able to get back up the other side to say everything's going to be okay. I've started the business. So it's like a bridge. So your belief systems are like a bridge from where you are just now. And the bridge is the fear. It's overcoming this kind of fear that you have, that you're going to fall down this deep hole over to the other side of where you want to be. So that's what your belief systems are. So if you can build up your belief systems, it builds a much, much stronger bridge that you can walk across easier than what it would have been. I'm not saying it's easy, but it's easier than what it would have been. So if you look at all the kind of beliefs that you have around the fear that you have, then you can build that bridge over to the other side of where you want to be.
Yeah, and my good friend Krishna, who interviews me once a month for Holistic Bliss, says she loves my TEDx Gold.
Excellent.
So Krishna just lives around the corner. She's here in Australia, and I'm sure that Krishna will be getting so much out of this this chat. And I'd love to actually connect you with Krishna. I will chat with Krishna. And I'm sure that she would find you very interesting to talk to, Stephen, in the line of work that she does. So, is there anything else you'd like to share with us?
One thing. So a lot of people say, "Okay, how do I find out about my beliefs? How do I know what beliefs I have?" Because most people, if you were to ask them, they don't know what their own personal beliefs are. One quick and crudish kind of easy way, but it is effective, is just to say, okay, what is one of my goals? So you just ask yourself, what's my goal? You write it down on an A4 piece of paper, and then underneath it you say, okay, what beliefs would I need to have in order to achieve this goal? So when I done this, when I was first writing the book, The Belief Principle, I didn't believe I could write a book. I'd written a book before, but it was just a blog post that was a longer blog post. So it wasn't really a book. It wasn't a real researched, structured kind of way. It wasn't a real book that I perceived as a real book. So I had to install a new belief that I could write a book and say, okay, what's stopping me? What is the limiting beliefs I have? Is anybody going to listen? Do I have anything to say? Who am I to kind of write about beliefs when there's psychologists out there and everybody else, and neuropsychologists and stuff? So you have to look at all those beliefs and work on them in turn and say, I've got something to say. People, this is going to genuinely benefit people, even if it's only one person. Although I didn't really believe that. I thought it was going to be much more. Even if it is only one person, it's generally going to help. So look at all your limiting beliefs around one goal. When you get that one goal, when you achieve that one goal, it's a success. So you've got evidence of success for the future beliefs that you want to install in your life. So you're building up a portfolio of evidence of success, and that kind of spurs you on, gives you action to move you forward in life, and pretty soon the path that you want, it'll just be snowballing. It'll be going quicker and quicker and quicker to the destination you think you want to go to. And it's going to be a beautiful destination wherever you end up anyway, because you're taking action and helping people at the same time.
Yeah, that just resonated with me, because I had this belief system, because I wasn't really good at spelling, and I didn't finish school. I failed year 10, and that I couldn't write. And I've gradually started writing articles for magazines. And I know the first time I wrote one, it was just like, I went into sweat. I'm like, who's going to listen to me? There's all these people out there that can write, are very much more articulated than what I am. And I had all this was going on in my head until I think it was 24 hours before it had to be in. And it was just like, okay, I'll sit here and write it. And then when I wrote it and I sent it in, I'm like, oh, she's not going to like it. It's not going to be right. And the editor came back and said, oh, we loved it. And I write now continually for this magazine. And at the end of the year, my breakthrough for writing, it was a chapter I wrote for Changemakers as one of 22 female change makers for International Women's Day, about sharing my personal journey. And same thing, I went through it. It was like 2 days before it was due in, I wrote it, and it was just like, when I'm not thinking about it, it just happens. And it's like, just write it. And it is a confidence thing, it's a belief thing. But we have all this technology with like writing a book, whether it's spelling or that's why we have editors. That's why we have all these things, but we believe that we have to do it all ourselves. We've got to hand it to an editor that's perfect. What are they going to think of us? It's our own limiting belief systems that are sitting behind that. Totally. That's what you pay editors for. They edit it. And if you say, hey, I'm not real good at this, or I'm not real good at that at the moment, that's how I say it. Until I kept saying, well, I can't write at the moment. That's how I got over that. Yeah, I'm getting better and better at it. My daughter's the same thing with her live. She's like, well, when I jumped, we used to do a live show together, and beginning of this year, I just said, I'm not doing it anymore with you. You're going to do it on your own. And she went into panic. But what it's done is it's built her confidence up, because now it's like she goes, oh, I'm getting really good at that. I said, yes, you are, because she believes in herself. And that's what it comes down to. It's just taking that tiny step and putting one foot in front of the other, and just keep going. And when you fall down, get back up, fall down until you actually don't go down that hole. You walk around it, whatever it is in your life.
And that's it. You've summed that up kind of perfectly as well. You summed up the comfort zone. Your daughter doing that, she got outside her comfort zone by jumping on a live with you. First of all, expanded the comfort zone so she could do it herself. And now she's expanded it even more to feel really comfortable on doing live shows as well. And same with you with your writing as well. I'm sure if you were to write a blog post for somebody else, it wouldn't faze you now, because you've expanded that comfort zone and the belief kind of system that goes inside that comfort zone as well.
Yeah, and it doesn't faze me to do that. And now I'm thinking, oh, I think I've got a book in me. I might have a go at that. So, and I know there's more than one. I've already been told I have to write a couple of books, but it's just like I will do it. It's finding the right time. But where I found it really hard was my limiting belief systems about who I'm going to hurt, when I wrote about my journey and my family and stuff like that, where I think at times, and you being a psychologist, sometimes we need to get that out.
Yeah, I think you do need to get it out, if not to yourself or people close around you, to the people that have actually kind of hurt you as well, if you want to go down that road. But sometimes I do think it's better out than in. And it's cathartic. It's very cathartic to do something like that as well, even if you don't publish it, but just get it out on paper. And for you, you just go, it's like a weight off your shoulder when you do something like that. It is very cathartic, or it can be.
And Stephen, what's your belief around forgiveness in the belief system type of thing? Your belief principle book.
Around forgiveness, I don't think we've got one specifically for forgiveness for that. But you're talking about personally, my own personal beliefs? Yeah,
well, it's like, forgiveness sets ourselves free. We can have belief systems that that parents pass on to us and things that happen to us. But for me, it's like if we get to that point of forgiveness of the things that we've done, and we can let that go, we're no longer shackled to the past.
Yeah, I don't think that's so much forgiveness, Sandra, and just this might be a kind of different way of thinking about it. I don't think it's much as just acceptance. You've accepted that what has happened in the past has brought you to where you are today. It's not going to serve you in the future. So you need to kind of accept what happened. And it might be a good thing. You are the person you are today because of what happened yesterday. But you're not necessarily going to be the person you are tomorrow because of what happened yesterday. You can be a different person. And it's about choosing to be a different person. But realization and getting it out into the open about what's happened in the past, it can be a good thing. So it's not about forgiving, because I'm not necessarily, if somebody kind of was to murder one of my children, I wouldn't forgive. There's no way I would forgive anybody for doing that. It's just not possible. You'd have to move on from it. It would be a terrible thing to happen, but I wouldn't forgive. So I wouldn't say it's forgiveness. It's about accepting something has happened, looking at the limitations of where that's kind of brought you to where you are today, then choosing a different future, knowing what the past has given you up until today.
So you can either hold on to the bitterness and keep you, or accept it and work through it. And like, yeah, I'm pleased I asked you that, because you've given another avenue from a spiritual perspective. When we talk about forgiveness and forgiving and all of this, it is acceptance, and
Yeah.
It does interrelate in some things. But just for Krishna, who's watching, Krishna and I have quite often spoke about, she's got this when she was younger, shame that she had no, she felt like when people feel shame, what's the belief around that if they're not grateful, and if they're told that and they have this belief of shame?
I think shame is a feeling, and your beliefs have feelings as well. So shame is about not feeling, I'd say, worthy enough. Or it depends on what the shame is. Is it something they've done? I don't know if you've got an exact, I don't want to kind of pry or anything.
Yeah, people can say to you, shame on you, I'm ashamed of you because you've done that. Or, like I know my parents sometimes just say, well, I'm ashamed of you because instead of they're embarrassed, but they use the word shame.
Right, so we have to understand, and that kind of thing, we have to understand it's not your shame. It's not you, it's somebody else's shame that they're ashamed of you. And that's where you kind of look at yourself and say, I'm confident enough, or I am worthy enough not to care what other people think about me. You kind of take it on board, because you have to. As children, we have to take it on board, but we've no other choice, because it's kind of programmed into us. And if children feel like that a lot, coming to the realization of why they feel shame can be a good thing. We don't necessarily have to know with the kind of the etiology of where a shameful feeling came from. We don't have to know kind of where it was born. We just have to know we feel like that just now, and then make a conscious effort to change that way in the future. So I'm a big believer. So you talked about forgiveness. I'm a big believer in forgiving yourself, not necessarily anybody else outside of your sphere, but forgiving yourself. Huge, absolutely huge. Accepting what you've done in the past. We're all different people from where we were yesterday. We're all different people. So when I was 16, I was a bit of an arse when I was 16. I changed when I was 25. I changed again into the man I am today because of all the mistakes I've learned. So I'm not the same arsehole that I was when I was 16 years old. So we're different people. So I accepted the arse I was at 16, and I kind of learned from those mistakes and said, okay, own your mistakes, be the person you are, accept what you've done, move on, and forgive yourself and move on to a better life, hopefully a better life. So that shameful feeling, it's usually other people's shame. It's not really yours, but if you accept it and just say, that's their stuff, this is me now, I'm going to move forward in the future with something, different feelings.
Awesome. Awesome. And where can people find your book, and where can they find you?
You can go to Amazon and just type in The Belief Principle, and you'll find the book there. I know you're going to put a link up as well after this end, so you can find that. I've sent a link to you. And you can just go to stevenaitchison.co.uk and you can find the blog, or just type in Steven Aitchison in Google and you'll find Facebook, you'll find kind of YouTube, you'll find all the kind of channels there as well. And I've got loads of kind of different videos on the kind of Belief Principle on YouTube as well, if you want to check that out.
And they're awesome. Anyone that's watching, I've had a look at them, and they're just very short, really, really well done. And you'll all get a lot out of it by visiting Steven's Facebook page. I'd like to say thank you, Steven, so much for chatting to us tonight, chatting to me and chatting to the viewers. I've really enjoyed our chat.
Sandra's been brilliant. You've made it really, really easy. Thank you very much for having me on your show. I really appreciate it.
I just like to go with the flow. Yeah, us Aussie girls are fairly easy going, and it's just a conversation. It's been a great conversation. And for the Vino and Chat TV, we will be back next week with another awesome person. And if any of our viewers, Stephen, do you do any coachings?
I do coaching, yeah. So I do coaching around the belief principles, so specifically looking at kind of beliefs as well, and look at coaching that way. Not doing it, I'm focused on other things just now, but I do the coaching as well, yeah.
Cool, awesome. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, and I look forward to connecting with all the viewers next week. Bye for now.